calling Jeff Rogers. Jeff Rogers speaking. How can I help you?
Hi, Jeff. My name is Jason. I'm a second-year student at BCIT. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Sun shining.
Nice. Just
Hope
wanted
this is
to talk to
recorded.
you, a requirement for one of my marketing classes. Within your company, I'd like to speak with someone in human resources that's involved in the training, that oversees training. If you could please put me in touch with them, it'd be much appreciated.
Actually, I am the person who's in charge of training.
Perfect. I called the right guy, eh?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Nice. Do you have a few moments right now I could discuss a few of these questions I have?
How long do you need? I'm afraid I've got a meeting that I've got to run to in about 10 minutes.
No, that's understandable, and I will only take up half that time.
Yeah, go for it. Shoot.
Perfect. Was wondering, at Jeff Rogers, what are the training programs in place, if there are any, for departments or training? Can you tell me a little bit about your training requirements?
Well, currently I do all the training for all of my 18,000 employees. We try and do it over teleconferencing. I mean, it is in-house. I find that I'm probably the best person to describe what it is I do at Jeff Rogers. So that's probably why I choose not to outsource it.
Okay, absolutely. So you say it's done through teleconferencing, but where exactly are you calling these employees? Like, are they all in a conference room in a hotel, or is it within the office that you're calling them?
Within the several offices. I've got about 3 offices in Australia, a couple in Malaysia, and then one in Georgia, and one in Vancouver.
Okay, I noticed you guys were expanding into the heavily growing Winnipeg.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
What sort of training for new employees are going to be hired in there?
Well,
what sort of training?
Again, we've got some sales reps coming there, and it's going to be basically covering the sales process. Although most people that do hire, I do choose to hire at Jeff Rogers. They already have about 60 years experience, so they usually are able to go through the 10 steps of the sales process. It's a bit more in depth. I tend to touch on trial closes and the CAN presentation. Really, I think that's the way of the future.
No, sounds like your training is spectacular at your program. What sort of measurements do you guys, do you measure these programs? Do you see each employee take something out of it?
Yeah, actually we do. We get them, before the training seminar, I get them to write down what number out of 10 they're thinking of. And then at the end of it, 9 times out of 10, the number is higher than the one that they chose before. So most of the time we can see an improvement of at least 1, most likely about 3, maybe 4, unless they choose 8, and then it's only 2. But most of the time though, they're choosing about 3 or 4, and then they come out of there, they're on a high, and they're thinking 9s, 10s.
That's great. So what kind of reasons, a company like Jeff Rogers that I believe showed profits last year of around $400 billion, it's a private corporation.
That's quarterly.
You guys are, that was quarterly?
Yeah.
Wow. And is it still a private corporation? I understand you're going public.
You know what? I make everything myself. I made the phone that you're talking on. I make everything. I take all the benefits.
I'm getting off topic here. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really want to know what sort of resources you then allocate to your training.
Well, I tend to pay myself about $200,000 an hour, and we go over
a little bit off topic again. I love to hear about things like that, but what resources do you actually allocate to the actual training program of these employees?
Well, in terms of how much I pay employees for these?
No, how much obviously, I guess you do the training yourself.
This is it. So that's why I tend to pay myself, right? It comes out of the company money, but the thing is, it's my company, so it's just all tax dodging.
During the are these teleconferences held during work hours, and does it take away from the actual operations of the company?
Yeah, actually, anyone that goes to church, I don't hire. So I tend to have my services during 10 o'clock on Sundays. That's the way I operate. It's my way or the highway, and most of the 18,000 employees that I've got choose to go my way.
Okay. Yeah. So if you could just lastly let me know what you think a successful training, that Sunday morning, what you think constitutes success.
I like to see them coming out of there high-fiving. They're really high on themselves. The euphoria. And you know what? I've got security surveillance system set up at each office so that when I'm done the teleconference, I can actually see them high-fiving. I'm really happy, and that makes me happy, and that gets me through the day. And you know what? That's how I measure results. Because you know what? Anybody can judge it on figures and money and revenues, but you know what? If I see them happy, popularity, that's all that matters to me.
Jeff, this is sort of, and I'm done these questions. I understand you got to run to a meeting, but actually just talking to you, I have a different assignment where I'm looking for a mentor. Someone like you is just fantastic. I would
thank you for
you to mentor me. If you maybe want to come out to my house for maybe a weekend or that, there's a guest bedroom.
Well, what kind of sheets you got?
They're Egyptian cotton. I don't think.
Actually, I'm a huge fan of. No, that's all right. You know, whatever. I go slumming every now and then. Just one weekend, because I've got all of April free. I think I might. See, I'm kind of in trouble with police at the moment, so I'd kind of like to hide out, actually, if you wouldn't mind. Tax evasion. But you know, if you'd still like me to mentor you as to how to avoid police confrontation, I'd be more than happy to help you.
Okay, Jeff.
I'm afraid I've got to run, though. Yes, yeah.
I will be in contact with you. I just wanted a Mike Keene that I go to school with. He knows you.
Bastard. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say want to say hi, but it doesn't sound like.
No. You know what? No, that guy, I gave him a tray of blintzes if he would paint my fence, and the guy never painted my fence, and I'm still waiting on that tray of blintzes. So as soon as he gives me that, then it'll be all right, but they better not be the same ones that I made them 3 years ago.
I'm sorry to drop a name like that. I just sort of thought you guys had.
No, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day. Yeah, I'm going to get through this.
Excellent talking to you again.
Thanks very much.
I wish your company luck, and luck with the police as well.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay. Bye.